How's it going, folks? So today I'm going to be talking about the new album from the band Rose Avalon, and the name of this album is Universe. But y'all know it by now. Before I get to that nitty gritty, let's check out the cover. So boom, there it is. I like it. I do like the cover. It's very clean. It's pleasant. There's really not too much to it going on there. You kind of have like the moon and like a star and whatnot in there, with some crescent moons on the side. It is pretty cool looking. And then the overarching kind of star symbol with, I like the way that the band name is up there in the upper hand corner. It just looks really neat. And then down the bottom you have universe with this kind of array of colors. It's classy. It's nice to look at. Doesn't exactly like pop out, and really demand your attention. Not so much. It's a little bit more subdued and just kind of has just a little bit of that just kind of classy approach to it. It looks nice, but it doesn't quite just reach out and say, "Look at me," yeah, look at this album. And as far as giving you a sense on what music you can expect on the album, if you're just going to the CD shop or whatnot, looking through, you see this cover, you're like, oh, that looks pleasant. Let me see what this is all about. If you buy it without knowing and the music, and then getting home, would you be surprised by what's on there? I'm not sure. The cover doesn't fully like convey, I would say, the exact kind of music on the album. It's a little bit of a general kind of look to it. So I feel like it would be hard to determine just based off the cover alone to to determine what style of music this band is. So that's really my take on the cover. I like it. It looks nice. It's classy. It doesn't quite pop out and grab you, and it doesn't fully convey, I think, what style of music is contained within. But that's that. Let's talk about the album itself now. This bad boy's got 11 songs on here and comes in at about 47 minutes. So great. It falls right kind of in that sweet spot for me. I like that kind of run time because it reduces the risk of like filler and stuff like that. And 11 songs, 47 minutes. I mean, that's really, really just, like I said, it's kind of in that sweet spot for me. So what you can expect sound-wise, music-wise on this album is a really, really cool, kind of at its heart, it's like a symphonic metal, almost like a classic symphonic metal from the 2000s. Not so much of like the modern style. It feels more of like that classic symphonic metal sound from like the 2000s and whatnot. And I dig that. I dig that style and the way that that's done. So really at its core, that's what it is. But what really, really caught my attention and sets this album apart from others is the added folk metal, or just folk uh, instruments and vibes and stuff like that. And it's just really great. You get like some bagpipes in there. You get like a flute or tin whistle or or whatnot in there, and it's these little added flavors that really breathes extra life into the album, and like I said, really kind of helps set it apart music wise from the crowd. And the way that it is handled is just beautiful because there's some like symphonic folk metal bands that rely a little too heavy, I think, sometimes on the folk elements to where you, there's that style, and y'all know what I'm kind of talking about, of like a symphonic folk metal where it has a heavy reliance kind of on the folk elements, and you get a lot of cookie cutter kind of stuff in that genre or in that style to where you're kind of like, I've heard this done a lot, and it doesn't really, blow my mind or anything like that. But what this band has done here, I think is just really, really cool because they are very deliberate about how they utilize these folk elements. You know, the album's not driven by these elements. It's more of these elements are there to just enhance, you know, the core sound. And that's what really sets it apart, you know, and it feels more thoughtful. And like I said, it really just enhances the experience. So, yeah, I mean, as far as the core, you get a nice symphonic metal sound here, some heavy guitars, you know, some really great riffs. The guitar gets a lot of time to shine. You know, there's some great guitar melodies, just some great guitar work, and like I said, some heavy riffs that kind of set the tone or the feeling for the songs. And you know, the drums are nice and heavy. They really help carry the sound from that aspect as well. And you get symphonic elements in there that expand the scope and the feeling of the song, make it feel more grand, or you know, on a more epic scale. Um, so all of these things are kind of woven together really, really well, and then you get really great melodies, you know, in the chorus. The vocals are one of the things also that really, really help set this album apart, or this band, I should say. There is so much that she can do with her voice. It is really mind blowing. You know, there's times where she has a little more aggression in her voice, you know, because everything's really bombastic, and she's really delivering in a more aggressive way. Then there's moments of a softer, you know, tone that she takes with her voice. And then there's times where she goes up into almost kind of an operatic style. And her versatility is just wild. I really, really enjoyed her vocals here on this album, and it suits the sound very, very well. So, like I said, at its core, you have just really, really solid symphonic metal. Um, but then you add in like the bagpipes and the flute and stuff like that in moments that it just it gives something different to the sound, and it's just wonderful. And you get really, really great melodies, especially when the folk elements are introduced. Really lovely melodies. There's plenty of times where, you know, the music just has a chance to really kind of play out, and you hear all the instruments and the nice melody, but and then her vocals come in, and it's just a beautiful combination of all of the elements. Uh, so yeah, it just really, really cool. It starts out with the song "Oppressors," which kind of just comes in hard and heavy. It's like, which again is what I really, really like, because they come in with this first song, and they're like, "Hey, look, we're like symphonic metal." At the core, you know, we got some heaviness to us. You know, we got all these elements of symphonic metal in here, and then it's not till track two where they show you, okay, so now you've seen like what we are at our heart, and at our core, but now look at these other elements that we're going to introduce as well. And so track two, Angel, is when it really some of the like the bagpipes really, you know, kick in right there from the start, and you're like, whoa, wow, this is cool. This is really, really cool. And then everything else chimes in. You know, you get some nice heavy guitar riffs and stuff, but these folk elements in there again with her vocals and the vocal melodies, just stunning, just stunning. It's really, really great. Then you get like track four, Beltane, which is probably my favorite song on the album. Um, we get some male vocals in there too. Occasionally there'll be some like harsh vocals, but again, you know, I keep saying this, but I'm kind of like fanboying over this a little bit. But another thing I love that they do is, because a lot of the like female fronted symphonic metal bands, they'll have some harsh vocals in there as well. But what they do here is, a lot of times that you hear the male, like the harsh vocals in the background, they're kind of like subdued in the background, and it just adds like an extra layer. It's not like now you just have this whole section of these harsh vocals and this and that, and then they go back into the thing like just kind of the standard style. No, it's like sometimes there are moments where the harsh vocals take a little bit of the forefront, but most of the time when they're kind of in the background behind her voice and the music and all that, and it just adds an extra layer. It just creates a more rich and full sound to the melodies and just the vibe of the moment, whether it's the chorus or whatnot. So just really tastefully done. Everything here is just very tastefully done, and I have to commend the songwriter or songwriters on just the arrangements and how they put everything together, because it's just so tastefully done, and it just everything just enhances the sound. And so by doing that, instead of just constantly having moments where you just have the harsh vocals and then it goes back to the regular, then you have the harsh vocals and whatever, it's kind of in the background, and like I said, it just creates more layers to the sound, which there's already many, which again just this really sets it apart. But on this song here, you have more clean male vocals that coincide, with her vocals and stuff, and it's just an epic song. And the melody, like in the chorus, and it's just it blew me away. I just love it. It's probably my favorite song on the album. The next one, Breaking Cages, is another one of my favorites. Yeah, then you get, like there to the end with track 10, 11, Universe, in which Universe is a really epic, kind of soaring sounding symphonic metal song, and then which just rounds everything out. Really nice with, kind of containing elements that were found throughout the rest of the album, but then also just kind of serving as a nice end cap to the album. So it was all just organized really well. Everything flows well. And again, you get everything from real heaviness to real epic soaring moments to some more folk heavy moments. And it's just put together in a beautiful, beautiful package. So I was blown away. First time I've encountered this group here, and I'm just impressed. I'm very, very impressed. So I implore everybody that if you're a fan of symphonic metal at all, or even just metal, but specifically symphonic metal, don't let this album get overshadowed by some of the heavy hitters that were released in February, like Delane or Xandria, stuff like that. Because this is one of those that it's like a sleeper hit almost. Like, you didn't know it was coming, and then there it is, and it's like, wow, there's so much cool stuff that they did here. All top-notch musicianship, and again, just a sound that really sets it apart, and it's just put together so well. So if you're a fan of symphonic metal, I implore you, I urge you, don't miss this album. Give it a listen, because I was very, very impressed. But anywho, yeah, if I had to recommend one song um, to listen to for y'all to determine if you want to give it a shot or not, I can't help but just recommend Beltane, even though that was my favorite song. There's many on here that I really, really love. So yeah, check out the song Beltane. And from there, better yet, just listen to the album, because it's really, really cool. Let me know in the comments down below if y'all have listened to this album, if you're familiar with the band or whatnot. But if you've heard it, what do you think of the album? Let me know. And if you haven't, are you going to check it out? Have I encouraged you to give it a listen? And once you give it a listen, come back here and let me know what you thought. Let's talk about it in the comments down below. And yeah, I'll catch y'all next time. Ranger, out.